Welcome back to 843 TV here at the Sea Pines Country Club, and joining us now is James Wedgeworth, who happens to be our #1 real estate sales agent in Hilton Head Island with $144 million in sales in 2017.
Well,
congratulations!
You did your homework.
That's
so
incredible.
You get everything online nowadays.
James, we're talking today about the RBC Heritage and different impacts during the Heritage Week. How do sales work, or is it maybe more of a time for prospects for you?
Well, when I first came here, all the other agents told me, you never sell anything Heritage Week, but that's all right because you meet a lot of people that will buy 3 months later, because you kind of work off the theory that everybody that owns property, especially in Sea Pines, they bring 4 or 5 friends for the tournament. Well, after I'd been doing this a couple of years, I started making sales during Heritage. So I think that a lot of the people assume they don't make sales. They assume they can't get around, they can't get to the property, the roadblocks and all. But actually, it's a very, very good week for sales because a lot of people do come. They just absolutely, I mean, you got to give me a break. It's the most beautiful place in the world this time of year, the Heritage Classic. So what happens, people do buy property, but I do think most the benefit is that these people come, fall in love, and come back 3 months later and buy.
You know, a year ago, March, actually, we sold our home and bought a home, but I don't know if we're the exception or the norm. How does March and April match up to the rest of the year here on Hilton Head in terms of sales?
Okay. We have what we call the 60-day window of opportunity. That runs basically from President's Weekend, which is this weekend, to a couple of days after the Heritage Classic. It's been my experience over the years that that is the best 60, 70 days of the year for sales. Now, what's amazing is the way the press reports sales is what we commonly refer to is closed sales. But the way the buyers look at real estate is the day they bought the house.
You know what, you're exactly right. Now that I think about it, we did actually buy this time of year. So, yeah. And then we closed in March. You're right.
Yeah. So what happens is people, that's the best time of year. Now, what I always tell people is you're going to get the most money for your house if you sell it in March and April. There are a couple reasons. One, this place is the most beautiful place in the world that time of year with the azaleas. You have so many people coming. You got the Golf Classic, you got spring break, you got Easter, and also the colder the winter is up north, the better we do in the spring because everybody's got cabin fever.
They're tired of it by March, yeah.
So what happens, they come down here and say, it's a pretty nice place. You know, so we found that you'll get the most for your house because there's more activity. If there are a bunch of people looking at a house, you know, you got a better chance of getting more, and there are more people looking, so therefore you get more money for your house, you have a better chance of selling your house during that time period.
You've kind of answered some of this question, but I'm curious, with a billion households watching on TV the week of the tournament, international and national, I'm just curious how that impacts the real estate.
Okay. One question I always ask people when I'm showing them property, say, how'd you get interested in Hilton Head? And you get answers like, well, my brother had a place down here, or we went here on our honeymoon. But the #1 answer I get is people say, well, I've been watching that Golf Classic on TV, and we were just blown away at the natural beauty. Now, we all understand, if you're in business, you understand marketing, you understand advertising costs. Steve, there's probably not a number that you could give me, but if you had to go to the TV companies and say, we want to run this ad, we want to run this picture of 18th Fairway, and we want you to say these things, how much would it cost? Well, obviously it costs more than your budget. So what I tell people is the amount of free advertising that we get, because when those cameras, you know, look out there and you're looking at the waterway and you see all those boats and you see the beautiful sunsets, and somebody's up in Ohio and it's raining and it's cold and it's still 48 degrees, they go, wow. So I tell people the free publicity that we get is one of the best things, and I promise you, the realtors, we appreciate it. I mean, I've often had a nightmare like, what happened if we didn't have this golf tournament? How would that affect property values? And the #1 reason is because of free publicity we get, and it's fantastic, and the camera work. I'll sometimes I'll tape it and go back to watch it because I'm there every day. I should be working probably, but I'm there every day. But go back and watch it just to see the shots and how that would impact a buyer.
Well, one thing too on that is you have two people in Jim Nance and Nick Faudo that are in that box that we don't, they're sincere when they talk about their experience and their love for it, which helps us all out with the players in addition to our sponsors. So James, great.
During this week, what other special promotion or events do the real estate companies do, tied to RBC Heritage Week?
Most real estate companies will have some type of hospitality house. Several of them have special dinners for their clients, but we realize the importance of this, and we want to do everything we can to promote it, and we want people to have fun, because the more fun they have, it's just great for everybody. So most of the real estate companies do have events, and they're a lot of fun. I go to the other companies' events too. They're a lot of fun.
Now I have to ask, since we're talking about the Heritage, how many years have you attended the Heritage?
I think this is my 38th Heritage.
Wow.
And I go every day.
That's more than Steve's been here, right?
Well, I'm older than Steve, too. It should be more. But I go every year. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic, and I wouldn't miss it for anything. If we had more time, I could tell you a bunch of stories about my first couple of years and what I learned, but it is a great time for us all.
Well, I have to say, this has been a great panel today. We have so much to look forward to coming up, and of course, the beauty here at the Sea Pines Country Club. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us for another episode of 843 TV,
where communities come to speak.